thought about this quite a bit, and I don't have an OnlyFans page or a Facebook page. Whatever the case, I wanted to give you a warning. I do have information in the description if you want to contribute $1 or more to the cause. That's fine. If you don't, it doesn't matter. But I wanted to give you a warning that I'm going to be showing some racy content. So I'm going to be showing my gasp, my nipple. And the reason I'm showing that is because I have to apply some dots on my nipples to keep them from chafing during longer runs. As a bigger guy, that's something I wish someone would have told me from the start, is that you've got to wear, you don't have to, but if you have nipples that bounce around a lot and chafe on your shirts over the long run, then there are products that are sold to help alleviate that issue. I'm about to show them briefly and talk about it maybe a little bit, but mostly you understand what the concept is, so I'm probably not going to talk that much about these things. I only wanted to kind of jokingly say I don't have an OnlyFans page and that you could contribute if you wanted to. But realistically, I really could use a little bit of monetary incentive to complete the journey that I'm attempting to complete without a whole lot of assistance from other people in my circles. So if you can help, that's great. If not, and if this appeals to you for whatever reason, please share it. Anyway, this is how my day went today. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is race day. I am in Helotes, Texas, and I'm about to participate in the IMA's run. It's a 5K. It's the second annual 5K at this location. And parking is pretty easy. I won't be able to move my vehicle until after the race is completed, until after everyone is off of the route. And it's easy to get to the starting line from here, and there are bathrooms available, and everything is very convenient. And so far I feel like I'm off to a good start because it's nice and cool. It's a lot easier to run any distance when it's cool. For me, it's not frigid. Just as a matter of conversational opportunities, I'd like to ask, have any of you heard of Peanut the Squirrel? Do a search, Peanut Squirrel, New York. Before you even complete that suggestion, I want to let you know it's a sad story. Some of you might not have any kind of an emotional reaction to that, but that story made me almost cry. And the only reason I haven't fully cried yet is because I think that I'm on the verge of weeping for a lot of things all the time. You know, like I believe in Spain or somewhere, there was some massive flooding and then some additional flooding. The secondary round of flooding at first didn't have any kind of reports of missing people, but the first round of flooding killed over 100 people. These events that are happening globally and even locally in the country where I'm at are continuing to increase. And also what's continuing to increase is the inability of people to see the destruction that they're causing one another and the pain that we're adding to the compounded pain that we're already feeling to one another by doing things like following a policy that results in the euthanization of a squirrel that used to bring a lot of people joy. These events seem real, I guess because they're projected on the news channels and everything. I only see the headlines most of the time, and because these things seem real collectively and must be occurring, then many of us must be carrying around a lot of grief and sadness. And most of us, the only way we can get around that grief and sadness is with sarcasm that inadvertently directs, let's call it jabs at one another. Speaking of jabs, how many have gotten the jab and still gotten the coronavirus? Probably a big percentage of people, more than we might think. And so all of the waste that's attributed to those things can be seen in many places, including right here where I'm at right now. Let's go take a look. Come on. it's 7:47 in the morning, and we're a few minutes away from this event. Starting line is right there, and I'm excited.
Philippines, that some of the pictures are on this walkway. And these children are abandoned and abused and get picked up by this amazing organization on this home. The Lord has blessed us this morning with some beautiful weather. Give it up for the Lord this morning if you could.
How many runners do we have this morning registered? 450. Come on, y'all. 450 of you guys here.
Well, I finished the race, but not fast enough to get a medal. The medals were only handed out to the first 100 people. That was not how it was disclosed when the race was advertised. And I'm saying something because in today's world, we do like to all get a medal for participation, whether we are children or adults. And if you're told you're going to get something up front and then you don't get it after you paid for it, usually that's a breach of contract. Not a big deal, but just as an observation, because I honestly don't need a medal. And if you've listened to this channel, you've heard that I really don't like all of the frivolous production of things that you don't really need in order to participate in these events, basically. Like, for an example, I got a shirt, and even though I made contributions to good causes, as was announced at the beginning of the race, the shirt is a production of something that doesn't necessarily need to be produced again. It's just, this is a one-time event type thing, and it came with a shirt, it came with a medal, it came with a grab bag of different prizes and stuff for, well, for encouragement. Many of the things that seem to appeal to me are moving target type things. On this channel, just as an example, it used to be that if you had 100 subscribers, your channel would be monetized. Well, guess what? I was monetized at 100 subscribers. I earned 3 cents during 1 month. And then all of a sudden, at that same exact time, they changed the subscribership and monetization rules so that you now need 1,000 subscribers in order to have your channel monetized. So that also is a moving target. There's moving targets that are hard to hit. I was able to pay bills at a certain rate because I was expecting a certain kind of an income. And at a certain point, that income changed because of choices that I made. And also, even then, at that point in time, some of the things that I was able to take from, including my own savings, were taken away at a moderate level because of changes in rules, changes in withdrawal rules and regulations, changes in taxes, changes in all kinds of things that, again, caused a moving target that would force me to not be able to participate in the way that it was told to me that I was going to be able to participate. So some people here are able to look at everything I'm doing and think, oh man, this guy, he has all kinds of money to spend on all kinds of things. Well, in the past, that might have been true. I might have had all kinds of income to spend on all kinds of things. In the current situation where I'm in, $30 to participate in this event is something that basically was the same as some people paying, $80 a month to their gym. You know what I mean? So basically, instead of paying for a gym subscription, I'm basically participating in something that allows me to benchmark myself against all of the circumstances that other people are really facing during certain situations that might be necessary for us to eventually participate in. Will I ever have to run to get somewhere, run for my life? Did you ever see a situation where basically there was rising floodwater that was going inland and people were running? It's hard to run for an extended period of time if you've never done something like that. It's hard to withstand certain physical torments if you've never participated in those things before. Some people in my friends and family circle go with one meal a day, OMAD, 1 meal a day fasting. Some people in my family eat all the time. No matter what we're doing though, when there's free things being given away like tacos at the finish line, some people will grab all of that. I normally would have done something like that, but I'm trying to achieve a certain goal. And that goal for me has been a little bit more difficult because the target keeps moving. It becomes more and more increasingly difficult for me to achieve certain things because the target moves. And so when I'm shooting for a target, now I'm basically starting to prepare for a target that is moving, that is going to surprise me. And so I will have to prepare to go extra rounds. If I can withstand a marathon, then for sure I can withstand a 3-mile run. A 26.2 mile run is much different than a 3.107 mile run. At the same time, the one thing that's not different is if the results are supposed to be such that it's advertised by a business that something is going to happen at this particular time when you complete something, that's usually what should be adhered to. I don't really make up any of these rules. I'm not the one in charge. At the level where people are in charge is basically the people that don't want to talk with me and interact with me over these discrepancies. I'll send messages that say, hey, this is a breach of contract. And I'll receive responses that say, oh, we're sorry about that. Maybe next time we'll be able to correct those errors. The errors need to be corrected at this point in time while we're running the route, seeing all the trash all over the ground, all the one-time use, all the different things that are used to motivate, and inspire people seem to also be taking a toll on us. Earlier, I talked about Peanut the Squirrel. Peanut the Squirrel motivated a lot of people, and it took a toll on someone like me who never even knew about Peanut the Squirrel until I saw the headlines. So moving targets are something that basically make it very difficult to achieve goals, but I'm still persisting whether or not the goal has stayed constant, whether or not the prize has even been valid. And the same thing goes for the way that we live life. As an example, if we do not focus on the fact that our very own lives will end at some point in time, then we might not understand that there is an end result that we might want to be focusing on at all points in time without any kind of a loss of concentration. So those are just the ways that I feel about some of these things. For me, I went running today. I felt great. I did a little bit of a slower than I expected 5K. My average minutes per mile was in the past about 15 minutes per mile. So my 5K normally was about 45 minutes. In this particular case, it was about 35 minutes. My smart device said that actually this official course that we ran from start to finish wasn't exactly 3.107 miles. So I had to walk for a little bit after I finished the finish line in order to get my additional, 1/10 or 2/10 of a mile. To get my 5K distance. So with all of that in mind, we've got all kinds of data, we've got all kinds of metrics. The metrics on this channel are such that I know that we're going to get to 1,000 subscribers, especially if you subscribe. Have you subscribed? If you haven't, go ahead and click subscribe. Have you shared these videos to help other people have these conversations? If you haven't, go ahead and share this video if you think it might appeal to someone else. If you think other people are discussing the same things about moving targets. Think about in my country, we have moving targets. We have one candidate saying that they didn't have a chance because the other candidate didn't relinquish the spot in time in order for them to have a fair race. So the thing is that, again, it's like there's all these things that are going on. Some people want certain things, some people don't want other things, and it's hard to really cater with precision to what people really want or don't want. I really would have preferred to receive one of the medals just because I had never done these type of organized events until this year. And it's fun. It really is fun to have the finishers medals for these events. And in this particular event, basically I'll have to check my official time. These times are registered at the start and finish line using electronics, and it's really neat. It's really interesting to see what we can achieve. That's how these miles go. If you're not able to run for this entire amount of time, then you might not understand how much of a feat this is. But also, if you have been running a lot, you might possibly make fun of my time, because the fastest miles that have been run are in the neighborhood of like 4 minutes and 5 minutes. So some people out there are running 5-minute miles. And out of the hundreds of people here, there's a spectrum of everything in between. Someone like me running 15-minute miles, and someone like someone else running 5-minute miles. And there's a bell curve that goes above and beyond those limits on both sides of the spectrum. It's just a matter of how much time and training were put into it, how much persistence there was. But let me tell you, moving targets will always be a situation. And if you're not able to adapt, well, chances are it's because you don't want to change anymore. So if you do want to change, and if you do want change, and you do want to impact these conversations in a way that's positive and that results in something like less litter and less destructive acts, like people going and taking Peanut the squirrel from his household and euthanizing him without the person who cared for him even knowing that happened. If you do want positive things to happen and less negative things to happen, I hope that you are clicking on the thumbs up. I hope that you are subscribing. I hope that you are completely able to see these messages and understand that what I'm talking about, it's basically saying that I'm participating in the same circumstances that you're participating in. The main difference is that some of us are just blindly following a leadership, blindly doing our own thing without understanding there are other people struggling around us. And that is the short. That is the biggest short that most of us are experiencing in this nation and globally right now. So I hope that you've had a great day. I hope that you're achieving your goals. And I hope that people aren't moving the finish line on you and trying to trick you into doing more for less, or getting less for more of a cost to you. Shrinkflation is a real thing. Following the leader is something, but leaders being able to buy their vote is a real thing. I figure that I've pushed a button because on the short video that I made that touched on these same topics, there were definitely some dislikes. There are probably going to be some dislikes on this video. The fact is, though, that if I can answer your questions, even if I can't, I'll do my best to try and help to answer your question. Put a question in the comments area. If I can't answer your questions, perhaps someone else in this group will be able to. If you can't answer my questions and I ask you questions regularly, don't be surprised if I stop trying to respond to the questions you're asking me. Don't be surprised if I stop trying to participate with the non-reciprocated energy that I'm receiving. Don't be surprised if you keep moving the goal and I keep achieving whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve. Because what I'm trying to achieve, again, is in the name of a higher consciousness, a higher awareness, a higher purpose. And some people don't understand what we're talking about on this channel, but throughout this video that you're going to see, you're going to probably agree, hey, there was something that was organizing us into this direction where we were collectively able to communicate and peacefully able to understand one another's needs instead of just self-serving and trying to only serve our own individual needs without ever thinking about anyone else. So thanks for listening. Until next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.